tune in tonight. This is our second day 2 of the tapping into the unlimited power of our subconscious mind. Appreciate everybody that's going to tune in. I'm going to give individuals a little bit of time to get in the live. As you get in the live, kind of join in, get yourself excited, make sure your body's moving, make sure your hands is moving, make sure you kind of got yourself all worked up and ready. But again, I appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in. Appreciate every single body that's going to tune in tonight. That's going to be part of this little gathering. This is part of us learning how to transform our lives and move our lives to the next place and to the next level. As you come in, consider grabbing a notebook, grabbing a pen, get yourself ready, because I'm going to go over certain things and I'm going to ask for certain things for you to do certain things, which will be beneficial to you. Thank you again for everybody that's tuning in. I appreciate every single person that has taken a moment out of their time to be a part of this gathering, because this is part of us joining as a community and as a group and growing together as a group. I had a real good conversation about this particular same topic earlier today with a couple people, and just talking to them about some of the things that we went over yesterday, and how that when you understand the difference between, because part of what we went over yesterday was the difference between the subconscious versus the conscious, which was very important, because a lot of things that we've done in our past, a lot of things that were done in the past were things that were done based upon us thinking that we would get the long-term results, but we didn't get the long-term results because of how the information was presented, because the information was presented to our conscious mind instead of our subconscious. When that information is presented to our conscious mind versus our subconscious, we are not going to get the long-term effects that we're looking for. Appreciate you being in here tonight. Thank you for the taps, likes, and shares. If you're new, or if you're in here, and good evening, Renee. If you're in here, you're going to need to get a notebook, because I'm going to ask you certain things, and then I'm going to ask you to regurgitate certain things. Appreciate the taps, the likes. Thank each and every one of you for tuning in. I'm excited to be with you. Again, for those that are just meeting me, my name is Arnold Austin. I'm a certified coach out of New Jersey. Some of the things that we went over yesterday, and I'm going to go through this real briefly. Thank you, Frank. Thank you for tapping the screen. Thank you for liking the live. Thank each and every one of you for being in here. Again, some of the things that we went over yesterday is we went over the difference between the subconscious versus the conscious. And that is very important. It's important because you cannot expect long-term results when you're coming from a place of your conscious mind, because our conscious mind, I'm gonna go through this real quick. It deals with our logic, our logical thinking. It deals with our willpower. It deals with our critical thinking, but it also deals with our short-term memory. So the things that you're introducing to it, it's based upon logic, willpower, and this is part of the reason why, and I mentioned it yesterday, that when you go to try to do your yearly whatever it's called on New Year's, I can't think of the name of it, but the thing that they do on New Year's, when you set your goal for New Year's and you say, I'm a New Year's resolution, a lot of times people aren't able to accomplish their New Year's resolution because they're doing it trying to do it based upon willpower. They're trying to do it based upon logic. They're trying to do it based upon their critical thinking, instead of understanding that in order for that thing to become a pattern, become a habit, to become a belief, it has something ingrained within your subconscious. Appreciate y'all being here. Thank y'all for the taps and likes and shares. So the second part, we talked about the subconscious mind. Subconscious mind is very, very important, because the subconscious mind it controls 90% of our lives. And I tried to stress the point over and over again of the importance of your subconscious, because your subconscious, what's up, MA 10X? Because your subconscious is part of what shapes your life. It shapes your habits, your beliefs, your emotions. And I'm just going over a few things just to kind of tie it all in together. Appreciate each and every one of you for being in here. Thank y'all for the taps, and thank y'all for sharing out the live. Thank y'all for the follows. And so if you want to change your life, you cannot change your life from a conscious level. You have to go in and you have to record new information and put that information before your subconscious, because your subconscious is controlling your life. It's controlling 90% of your life. It controls your beliefs. It controls your habits. It controls your emotions. It controls your long-term memory. So the memories that we have about our relationships and about our health and about our finance and about the things that are going on in your life are long-term. These are all things that are long-term memories. And because they're long-term memories, you keep getting the same pattern over and over again in your life. Thank y'all for the taps and the likes. Appreciate y'all for being in here. Thank each and every one of you for tuning in tonight. If you're in here and you're brand new, let me know where you're tuning in from. Again, my name is Arnold Austin. I am a certified coach out of New Jersey. in the USA. I'm going to be on here for 3 days. We're going to be going over all the information that you're going to need to know in order to start shifting and changing your life from where it is to where you want it to go. And so when you look at that, then I went through the whole process of looking at what are the blocks? What are the blocks that you have in your life? And so what, like even what MA10X was just saying, that that's crazy. Think about it. Most of us and most people that you know that are walking around you, they are not using their subconscious to the full capacity that they could, because a lot of people are not aware of how much that part of our mind does and how much it controls. And I'm gonna go over a few more things real quick because I'm waiting for certain other people to get in here. And so I'll just share this real quick, and then we'll move on. So it deals with your beliefs, your emotion, your habits. So if you have a habit, whether it's an addiction, whether it's something that you've done over a period of time, whether it's good or bad, that habit is something that is a pattern that has been written into your subconscious, because your subconscious records all of the information. It's a recorder. It records what you do, and how it knows to record what you do, because when you get emotion, when you feel emotion, whether it's anger, whether it's excitement, whether it's whatever, when you are emotional, your mind automatically, there's a trigger in your mind that goes up and says, oh, that's important. Put that in the subconscious. It gets filed into the subconscious. But when it's something that's not emotional, it gets registered into our conscious thought process. When it's registered into our conscious thought process, it's something that will only keep that information for a short period of time. Think about that. Would you file away information that's not important for a long period of time? No. If you're a business owner, or if you're a person that's just throughout your life, information that you don't need for a long period of time, why would you keep it? Why would you keep an address for somebody that you're just going to go see one time, to go look at them and maybe give them a price for something, or because you're a salesman or something? You wouldn't keep that information because it's not pertinent. And that's kind of what the thought process. So it deals with your imagination, the things that you imagine. The more imaginative you are, the more creative you are, that's how much more that you're a person that's in tune with that part of your mind. Because you're able to connect into that part of you where that creativity is, where that new songwriting is, or where that book is, or where that poetry is, where the information is that can help take your life to the next level. Because when you can learn to connect into your subconscious, you're going to be walking around in life from a more powerful perspective. You won't be a person that's walking in defeat and failure and unsuccess, but you're going to be the type of person that you're going to figure this thing out, because you're walking in a place where you can create it in your imagination. If you can create it in your imagination, you can live it in your life. Because once it's got to be created in you spiritually first. It's first spiritual, and then it's manifested in the physical realm. Anything you're going to create, it has to be created in that mannerism. So when you look at this, it says long-term memories. All of your long-term memories, the things that happened to you when you were a baby at 0, or a young child from maybe 1 or 0 to 7, all of those memories are in your mind. Whether you don't remember all of them or not, that stuff is still in your mind. It's still part of your thought process. And so the thing is, your confidence, whether you're going to be a person that's extremely confident or not confident, that's in there also. And I mentioned this yesterday. A lot of our thought process, or a lot of this, is based upon the people that were around our lives, and how they fed us, how they interjected information into us. Was it information that was helping to lift us up and to encourage us that we would be greater people within society? Or was it information that wasn't there to actually build us up, but it was information to actually tear us down, to make us not believe in ourselves, to make us doubt ourselves? And so when you look at our addictions and our patterns, our routines and our spiritual connections and our repetition of the things that we do over and over again, it's all in that subconscious. It's all there. This is why, like I was talking to a group earlier today, and I told them, I said, when people really grasp this thing and understand the significance of this part of their mind, and they take it as something that's very, very serious, and they understand that just because you have a bad program in your mind right now concerning your money, your health, your spirituality, or your relationships, you can change that recording. Because just because something is recorded in your mind, and you don't, and again, if you don't want the results, all you have to do is change the recording. And so, what did you say? You can awaken yourself. I'm not sure what you mean. Self contains 100%. Tell me if you know, because awaken 30%. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you mean. I'm not sure what you mean, Ditier. I'm not sure what you mean, but because I don't really understand what you mean. You'd have to ask me a question, another question. But the next thing is, again, I'm allowing other individuals to come in here, but there's certain information that I'm trying to share, because I have 3 days and I only have a certain amount of time. And so the next thing that I want to go over is the 10 blocks. I mentioned them briefly. You know, to 10 blocks could be anything from self-sabotage to perfectionism, to past trauma, to fear of failure, to imposter syndrome. These are all part of the process. For those that were in here yesterday, when you look at those blocks represent parts of us that are hindering us from getting to the next level. It's part of the blocks that's hindering us from getting to the next level that we want to in our lives. You know, and I believe that we will receive, if you're in here and you came with a mindset to learn, I believe that you're going to receive a great value for this information, because this information will have the capacity to change your life. It actually have the capacity to change your life. You know, the question that Ditira RSA is asking, I don't understand what he's saying. You know, he's speaking another language, but I'm not sure what he's saying. So my question is, what would it be worth to you? What is it worth to you to learn things that can actually start shifting and changing your life? What is this gnat in my face? Now, but what is that worth to you? What is it worth to you? What value would you put on something that you can actually start learning to actually change your life and get you to the next level? You know, for those that were in here yesterday, we talked about Dr. Emoto, because I'm going over a brief overview for those that are in here. What's up, Vanessa? Okay, bro, I wish you email me or direct message me, because I got to get through this information really quick. But so appreciate you being in here, Vanessa or Nessa. And so the next part, you know, I wanted to kind of talk about was, hold on, give me 1 second. I just got to pull this up. Okay, now for those that were here yesterday, the Dr. Emoto, I hope you went over that and watched that video and just kind of took a little notes on it or have some ideas on it, because that Dr. Emoto video that I told you to watch on YouTube, that was an experiment where the guy was dealing with affirmations, and he used the experiment with rice in these dishes, and based upon him either writing the word on the dish or speaking the words out loud over the dish, there were certain things that happened with the rice in those dishes. And so, and part of the reason why I wanted you to see that is because part of what yesterday was geared towards helping people to believe. Because most of us, because something is new, we might have little doubts and little curiosity. And that's why I wanted to hit you with as much facts, as much information. But if y'all, okay, good, Nessa. Now, if you did watch, did you see how the power of our words? And then that works even when you don't actually say the word. There's a technique called muscle testing. And some of you may be aware of it and some of you may not be. And how it works is you take an item, whether it's this bottle of water, whether it's a soda, whether it's whatever. It could be something good for you or something negative. You take it and you put it against your solar plexus, which is your abdomen. Okay, you put it against your solar plexus and you put your right arm out, if that's your strong arm, and another friend of yours or family member, the goal of them would be to push your arm down. And if this thing that you have against your solar plexus is something that is good for you, whether it's a soda, whether it's an alcohol beverage, whether it's whatever, whether it's water that's in the bottle, whatever it is. If it's something that's negative for your body, it could be even vitamins. Certain vitamins or certain things that might be good or bad for you. If you place that against your solar plexus and put your arm straight out, if it's something that's not good for you, your arm will fall automatically down. They're not going to tell you when they're going to push you down, but if it's something that's good for you, your arm will stay up strong. You'll be strong in that. And so my point is, our bodies know, just like our bodies know the things that are good for us. And so I wanted to prove a point to y'all about how powerful your words are, and how that everything that you need is already within you. Okay, so we talked about a little bit about that. Do anybody have any questions that was here yesterday about anything that I went over? Anything I went over, you know? You know, one of the things I did want to mention is that even because part of this thing is about building belief. And I can remember the first time I went to, I traveled alone. I traveled without anybody else, which is something that I never did. I never planned my vacations and nothing like that. I just wrote the check, Roger. I just said, yo, plan it, so on and so forth, and I just went. But so the first time I traveled alone, I was a little, I can't say nervous, but I was very, very careful. I double checked everything. I looked at everything and, is that the right date? And is this the right time? And is the flight coming in AM or PM? And how do I get from the airport to this? And all the little pieces and all the little points. And so by doing that, I found that now that when I travel, I'm less careful than when I was when I first started, which is a bad thing because sometimes you can make mistakes by being too experienced or too used to one thing or another. And so why that thought came to me is because sometimes when we first start something, we're not as confident in it as we should be. We're a little bit at the place where, we're a little bit like, and we're a little uncomfortable with it. But I don't want y'all to be uncomfortable with this because this is something that, like I was telling a group earlier today, it's something that's going to help you. Okay, let me move on real quick. And I'm trying to move on because I don't want to prolong the time, but I also want y'all to understand or receive certain. Okay. Okay. So Renee, were you able to look at that Dr. Emoto also? I'm just curious. You can say yes or no. Okay. No judgment. No judgment. I'm just curious because if you did. Okay. All right. Well, whatever. All right. So next thing, let's go into the affirmations a little bit. Yes. Okay. Good. Okay. Good. Yeah. Because when I tell y'all things, when I suggest y'all for things to do, I'm doing it because I'm trying to take you down this certain road. And so yesterday was about me showing you the difference between conscious versus subconscious, helping you see just how much more powerful your subconscious is and why you should spend so much more time working on this part of the mind that controls more of your body and X, Y, and Z and so on and so forth. And this is where you're going to get your result. This is the part that you can change. This is the part that you're going to get the long-term results if you invest your time, your energies. Okay. So the next thing is, what are affirmations? Anybody know what affirmations are? Put it in the chat. What are affirmations? Put it in the chat. I'll give you a couple seconds. What are affirmations? Put it in the chat. Okay. Basically, affirmations are short positive statements you say to yourself to influence your thoughts. So they're short positive statements that you say to yourself to influence yourself. Statements that you say to yourself to influence your thoughts. And so what that looks like is what I've been doing lately. And even though I've been saying that affirmations, you don't get the full benefit out of them. You don't get the full benefit out of them when you're awake. You will get the full benefit out of them when you are asleep. Because your mind will be more susceptible and more receptive because of the theta. You drop down into theta. It's a drowsy or a sleep state. And so when you look at affirmation, it represents, again, saying something positive concerning something that's going on in your life. So what I've been doing lately is anytime I get cash, like money, I walk around my house. It could be $50. It could be $500. It could be $1,000. The other day I got $1,000. I sold a couple things because I'm selling a lot of tools and things. And so as I sold them tools, I got the $1,000. I had the $1,000 in my hand. I put it on that table behind me. And then I grabbed it in my hand. Then what I started doing is I started walking around my house. I said, I am so happy and I'm so grateful and I'm so thankful for this $1,000. I'm walking around my house saying this out loud. I don't care who hears. I don't care who sees me. That don't matter to me. But I'm saying I'm so happy. I'm so grateful and I'm so thankful for this $1,000. You know what? And you know what? Not only am I happy and grateful for this $1,000, but I'm happy and I'm grateful for that this $1,000 and all of a sudden has compounded and is multiplied to 10,000. And not only has it compounded to 10,000, but it's compounded to 20,000. And not only has it compounded to 20,000, it compounded to 50,000. And I went through this whole process up until I got to $1 million. And that might sound crazy to somebody, and what's wrong with this guy? He's a bonehead, a bada bing. It don't matter what they think. It doesn't matter what everybody else is thinking. The point is, I'm putting good information into my energy, into my field, into my experience, into what I'm saying, into my house. Would you rather put negative into your house or negative language into your house about your health or about your finance or about your relationship? Or would you rather put something in the energy or in the atmosphere that's going to give you back a return? Because anything we plant, you're going to get a return back. I understand that because my grandfather was a farmer. When my grandfather planted a seed in the ground, he expected to get tomatoes because he didn't expect to get squash. He expected to get tomatoes because he planted a tomatoes plant. He expected to get zucchini because he planted a zucchini plant. So whatever you're putting out there, just what you're going to get back. Does that make sense? Say, oh yeah. That makes sense. Say, oh yeah. That makes sense. Say, oh yeah. And so that's part of what I did. And that's part of what it's a habit of mine for the last several months. Anytime I get cash, because a lot of times I don't deal with a lot of cash, but when I get cash, I start walking around, I start talking about it, and I start putting it in the atmosphere. And so you might say, well, you've been saying not to worry about affirmation. What I'm doing is I'm overloading my energy and my atmosphere with positivity. I'm doing it while I'm asleep, and then while I'm awake, I'm doing it because this is part of you changing the way that you think is changing the way that you think. It starts with changing the way that you think. And yes, I won't get the full benefit of saying that when I'm asleep as I will when I'm awake, but I'm still going to get a benefit from it because of the part that I'm doing while I'm asleep. That's the part that I kept away from y'all, but that's the part that's important. The more you do it, the more you repeat it, the more repetition over, because your subconscious is taught. It learns through energy or through emotion and through repetition. The things that you're continually placing in it, the information you're continually placing in it, and with the intensity, with the excitement by which you're planting it or placing it in your mind, and then the atmosphere where you're doing it. Who are you around when you're doing it? Thank y'all for being in here. Thank y'all for the taps, likes, and shares. Appreciate each and every one of y'all. And so when you look at the pros and cons of affirmations, the pros of affirmations is that they are good. You're saying something good. You're saying something positive. You're saying something uplifting. You're saying something that can be of a positive benefit to you and your household and your family and X, Y, and Z and so on and so forth. The negative is that if you're just doing affirmations, but you're not replaying your bedtime story, you're not going to get the full results that you want in your life because you are trying to program your subconscious through your conscious, and you can't do it. It's impossible. It's very, very hard. You're trying to train a part of your mind that is a short-term thought process, and the information has to go to where your long-term thought process is. So it's a process of learning and growing and developing. Appreciate y'all being here. Thank you for the tap, shares, and likes. Thank each and every one of you for deciding to join us tonight. I believe that you're excited. Again, if you've come in here tonight and you're getting this information, the value of it for those that actually take it and implement it in their lives, there is no value that you can put on it because you will be able to change your relationships, your money, your health, and your spirituality and the way that you think concerning those things. That's why I talked about the blocks. Because when we start writing today, you're going to have to look at those blocks. Why do you have those blocks? Why do you have those blocks of self-sabotage where you're sabotaging your own success? There's many people that you see in society that are sabotaging their own success because of not believing in self. A lot of the fears, that's a block. A lot of the imposter syndrome where you don't feel like you deserve certain things. I'm here today to tell you that you do deserve it. Doesn't matter what no one else thinks. You deserve it. You're a good person. You're here. You're trying to improve yourself. You're going through your process. You're working on your healing. You're doing the right thing. And if you're doing the right thing, you should get good results. That's the way I feel. I don't care what nobody else says. Listen to me on this one. On this one thing, listen to me. Anything else I might say, it could be wrong. I don't know. But this one thing, I believe that if you're a good person, you're doing what's right, you deserve to get good results. Because it's what you're putting out. It's like the law of reciprocity, right? Fear of failure, past traumas. Past traumas are so, and this is part of the reason why, part of how this whole thing came about, is because past traumas, and I'm talking about woundings and traumas, and I'm talking about all this stuff. But when you get to the root of it, that trauma is in that person's subconscious mind. Because it's an emotional event that took place. That betrayal in that relationship where they got hurt and they got their heart broken, that's an emotional experience. That's something that's painful to that person. And because of the pain of it, It's traumatic to their mind. That's why when someone when is going through healing, it's not just a thought process and then you're healed. You click your heels 3 times and you're healed. It's a process that you have to go through. It's a process of regulating your nervous system. It's a process of getting your mind back into a healthy state because of all the trauma. Trauma represents life-changing events that made a grave impact on you based upon how severe they were. And because of how severe they were recorded. They were recorded on the tablets of your mind. And this is why people keep living these same traumas over and over again. These loops of trauma. Because and then the more we live, the more you live it, the more you experience it, the more you talk about it, the more you think about it, the more you believe it, the more you think about it, the more you talk about it, the more you believe it. Write it. The more you talk about it, the more you think about it, the more you believe it. Talk about it, think about it, believe it. Write it. Talk about it, think about it, believe it. The more you're going to keep manifesting more of it. You're going to keep manifesting more of what you don't want. And at some point, when what we don't want, if what we don't want or what is going on isn't what we want, then we have to change the recording. We have to change the tape. We have to change the way that we're seeing things. It's all perspective. I can look at this bottle as 3/4 of the way empty or 1/4 of the way full. That's the way I have to look. I can look at it either way. It's just a decision, y'all. So I think I'm doing pretty good on time. So I'm gonna go over some quick things because we're gonna work on affirmations today, and this is why I'm talking about this, and I'm going over this extensively because if you have any questions, put them in the chat. But also, I really would prefer, because I want to kind of keep it going, and then if we go over on our time, that's fine if we do question and answer. So if you have a question, please make sure you have a notebook and a pad. But either way, please make sure you have a notebook and paper and jot down any little things. Oh, thank you, Real McCoy. Appreciate you being here. So if you have any questions or anything that you're going through, or not anything that or any questions or anything that you want to discuss, put them in, write them down. That way I can go over these things after I get done. Because I got a few minutes. We're going to do a couple little exercises, and I'm going to go take you through a couple little things that you can do to start getting these affirmations down. Because this is the first part with me actually helping you to start writing your story. The story that you're going to need that's going to help you to start getting the things that you want in life. But before you can get those things in life that you want, I'm going to want you to write this down if you have your notebook already. I'm going to want you to look at, if you have, everybody that has your notebook, say, I got it, or say something like, I'm going to get it, or you got it, or you got it, or you don't got it, or you did. Let me stop. Let me stay focused. I was about to act crazy. Let me stop. But do you have it? And if you don't have one, you can, okay, good. Thank you, Vanessa. If you don't have it, okay, good. Thank you, Real McCoy. Real McCoy, are you from TikTok? Real McCoy, are you from TikTok? I think I know that person. Okay. So if you have it, then what I want you to look at is, if those that were in here yesterday, there's 10 things, the 10 blocks. Out of those 10 blocks, I want you to look at those 10 blocks, and hopefully you did their homework assignment and you wrote down some of those blocks that were issues within your life that you wanted to work on, whether it was the fear, the self-sabotage, the perfectionism, the fear of failure, fear of success, the imposter syndrome, and I'm just throwing out a few briefly. And the second part is trying to think of what the second part is. Okay, I'll just keep moving on. Yeah, so we'll look at the 10 blocks. And the second part is I want you to write down the 4 areas that I talk about all the time. Your finances, your health, your relationships, and your spirituality. Okay, procrastination. Okay, good. Thank you, Nessa. Thank you, Nessa. Yeah. So that's that. So the 4 areas, I want you to write out the 4 areas, and we're going to go over this in detail. Your spirituality, your finances, your health, and your good Lord, I just said them. Y'all heard me, right? Your spirituality, your finances, health, spirituality, and Relationships. Why am I forgetting about relationships? That is hilarious. Yo, that is hilarious. I ain't gonna say nothing. Yeah, relationships. Hey, Bruce, good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah, good to see you. Yeah. So your relationships. I appreciate each and every one of y'all for being here. Thank y'all for the taps and shares and likes. I'm thinking, why am I forgetting? Real McCoy, are you from TikTok? I think you're from TikTok. Are you that McCoy, Real McCoy from TikTok? Okay. Yeah, either way, if you're new in here, let me know where you're tuning in from. Okay, so when you look at those 4 areas, as we're starting to deal with these affirmations, the affirmation part, what I want you to do is, part of you writing your story is, I want you to write out, hey, appreciate you being here, Bruce. I want you to write out in your notebook, what are the things that you feel, or what are the things, where did your beliefs start in the 4 areas that you have? I'm gonna give you all 5 minutes and start. I want you to start thinking of what are your thoughts concerning relationships? What are your thoughts concerning finance or money? What are your thoughts concerning spirituality? What are your thoughts concerning whatever the 4th one was? Y'all understand what I'm saying, right? I'm gonna give y'all 5 minutes, and then after we do that, then I'll get into the affirmations. So 5 minutes. See that? 5 minutes. You see that? 5 minutes. Give you 5 minutes to start writing out that stuff. If you have any questions about this, put it in the chat. So you want to combine some of the things that are part of the 10 that we discussed, the 10 bullets, and you also want to look at, out of the 4 areas, the 4 main areas, your relationships, your health, your finances, and your spirituality. Out of those 4 areas, which are the 4 most critical areas to me that I feel in our lives, what are the things that you would want to change in those areas? Give yourself 5 minutes. And if that's not enough time, y'all gotta let me know. Got about 2 minutes left. If you need more time, you want to just let me know. I'll add a couple minutes to it. Because you want to look at those 10 areas plus, or the 10 bullet, or the 4 areas in the 10 areas of blocks that block us. Okay. That's it. Y'all good? Let me know. Let me know how you're doing. Are you good? Time is up. Let me know how you're doing. Time is up. You need more time? Are you good? Oh, okay. Real McCoy. Yeah. Okay. Good. Good. Thank you, Renee. All right. You good? Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. Look at these. Look at these. They ain't playing around in here today. Okay. Okay. And you know, one of the things that I want to discuss in this section is I want you, because part of this section is you have to be able to expand your mind, because so many of us have had smaller mindsets concerning things that we want to take place in our lives. And so part of expanding your mind is I would want you to, and this is something, another exercise that I'll probably get you to do, is that, you know, what would a perfect day look like for you? And I'm not saying that, and a perfect day is going to look like something different for everybody. But you know, if I was writing the check, if I was coming into wherever you're at or sending you whatever you needed, if I was writing the check, what would that day look like? What type of car would you drive? Is there a certain vehicle maybe that you want, or that you'd want to drive? What would that look like? You know, would you want to go shopping on Rodeo? I mean, what would that day look like? You know, would you want to fly in a private jet? I mean, what would your day look like? Would your day be, you know, if I was even purchasing you a property or house, would it be beachfront? Would it be in the mountains? Would it be a cabin? Would it be, you know, everybody, part of you, desiring to do something is you have to have a why. You have to have a why. And I'm giving you just some brief things and some kind of overviews of things, but you know, what is your why? What is the thing that drives you? Part of the thing that drives me is not even as much those things, it is freedom. Freedom is my number one goal. Freedom, which represents freedom to do whatever I want to do. Freedom to have the finances and the freedom to move as I want. This is part of the reason why I'm building a business online, because if I decide to get up and move, get up and pick up and go somewhere else, all I gotta do is wrap up a laptop and some lights and some this, that, and the other, and throw that stuff in a suitcase, and boom, I'm out. Because I want the freedom to move. You know, I don't want to be stuck in the state that I was born in. So my biggest motivation is I want to fulfill my purpose, the reason for my existence on this earth. That's why I'm sitting here talking about this, because this is part of why I was put on this earth. I was placed on this earth, and I'm very, very clear in knowing what that purpose is, was to help to heal humanity, was to help to put a voice of healing and raising a vibration within humanity. And in process of doing that, helping people to find out what is their purpose, what is the reason why they were placed on this earth. And in the process of them doing that they would fulfill their destiny. That's the reason why I'm on this earth. That's my motivation. That's what I'm excited about. The cars, the houses, the long-term relationship, and all that other stuff. I know that that's all part of the package. It's all coming. It's all here. Not coming. It's here. It's already done. And so the things I'm using that as an example, because with all of us, you have to start somewhere. You have to start your vision for where you're going somewhere. And so part of your vision is you have to know what is your why. So I would want you to write down, what is my why? What would be my why? What would be the reason that I would want to do certain things? Part of my why was, you know, when this thing initially started, I saw a man that was around my life, and this man had a very, very successful business. He was a man that my mom used to work for. And then because when I was younger, my mom used to clean this man's house because we didn't have no money. There was 5 kids, you know, this, that, and the other. I mean, it was struggle. You're on Struggle Street. You know, because my parents got married at a very young age, and part of getting married at that age, you know, you're going to struggle, you know, and you got a young family, and they end up saving money, and they bought a house, and, you know, but there still was struggles, financial struggles at times, you know. And so with that being said, part of the mindset of my family, of that part of the family in particular, was everything was work, and there's still, most of them are still most of them's mindset to this day. Not understanding that it's not how hard you work and how much you work, but it's what work are you doing, and how effective are you in that work. And it's about working smart instead of just working and working hard. That was part of the reason why throughout, you know, my previous, you know, part of my life, I worked all the time, because I still had that mindset up until my awakening took place. So I'm gonna give you another couple minutes. I'll give you 1 minute. I'll give you 1 minute to write out to write out, because you can finish this later on once we start, or later on once I give you 1 minute. Start writing out what is your why. And you don't have to have the full revelation of it, but it's something that you have to sit down and think about. What is the reason why? What is the reason why you took this class? What is the reason why you decided to move in this direction? Because so many people heard me talk about this. So many people said they were going to be here, and a lot of people didn't show up. A lot of people didn't follow through with what they said they wanted to do. So you're here, and you're here for a specific reason. Why are you here? What is that why? What does that dream look like? What does that dream life look like? And it doesn't have to be perfect. You don't need to worry about commas and question marks and this, that, and the other. Just write. Just give yourself a moment to just put some words on a page, and then you can go back and kind of look at it later, and then you can expand on it, because it doesn't have to be perfect in this phase. So give yourself a minute. When you're done, or if you're done, say you're done. If you need another minute, let me know. Wow, okay, everybody's done. Okay, good. Appreciate y'all. So this is what we'll do. I'm gonna give y'all some examples. Which if y'all can't tell what I'm doing right now, I'm giving y'all little brief, quote unquote, summaries. And it's probably not summaries, it's like sentence here, sentence there, whatever. And all these sentences, they don't make any sense, and they don't need to make any sense. Because even when you write your story, your personal story that you're writing isn't necessarily about the sentence structure. It's more so about the emotion behind what you're saying. This is why I'm saying you have to be really, really refined into what it is that you really want. One of the things that I suggest to people with helping them to identify what they want is knowing what you don't want. When you know what you don't want, a lot of times it helps you know what you do want. Okay? And so when you look at affirmations, there's many people that'll talk to you about affirmations, and when they talk to you about it, and I already gave you the pros and cons. I already gave you a definition of what affirmations are. How to create an effective affirmation. Like I said before, it has to be something that's positive and in the present tense. And so what that looks like is you saying I am capable rather than saying I will not fail. That's the example. You want it positive in the present tense. And the present tense represents it's something that's in existence right now. Sometimes people think statements that they're saying are positive statements, and they're not. If you say, I will not fail, in context, it seems positive. But because you're talking about failure, it's automatically negative. Failure shouldn't even be a part of the equation. So part of it is, this is why I generally start mine with, I am thankful and I'm grateful that A, B, and C is done. Something along that line. So that's the easiest way that I learned how to do it. Keep it present tense. If you ask yourself a question after you write it down, is this present tense? And it's not, then it's wrong. But this is one of the most important parts, this affirmation part, because what you write and what you read and what you put in your story could be positive, but it could be pushing what you want down the road. This is why sometimes your grammatically how you say things, it doesn't really matter to your subconscious. Your subconscious don't care about your grammar. It cares about the statement. Is it a statement that it can believe because it's emotionally connected to it? Second thing, make it specific and believable. So the first thing is you have to make it something that's positive and something that's in the present tense, which means that it's happening right now. Second thing is make it specific. Is it specific? Are you specific in the description of what you want? Are you talking about this thing in such a way that you're describing the deliciousness of biting into that lemon and the sourness of tasting it, but you also can smell the beautiful roses, and you can also see yourself sitting in a bed of grass and can smell the freshly cut grass? Are you bringing yourself in a place where you're specific and you can believe? You're tantalizing yourself with your senses of being in that moment. Can you get in that moment? I am building a healthy daily routine would be a good example of that. Specific. You're specific in what the statement. Or a better statement, what it would be is, I've built a healthy daily routine. That's in the present. It's specific, and it's right now. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Say yes. If it doesn't, I'll keep going. Because this is the most important part. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Yes, no, maybe so. Does that make sense? Tell me. Okay, Renee said yes. I should do it. I should do what my dad used to do to us when we used to say, "Oh yeah," and then next thing you say, "Okay, explain it." No, but you don't have to explain it. But that's what my dad would hit us with that in a minute. And the third thing is, tie them into your values. Whatever the affirmations, tie them into your values, because your values are what you believe and what's already in your subconscious anyway. All these things that I'm going over right now this is the most, I cannot stress this enough. This is the most important part. If you don't get this part right, you're not going to get the full results that you need. This is why I'm going to open up the opportunity for people to have coaching and need to help them get to this point to fine tune things if they wanted or need it. At the end of all this, it needs to tie into your values and goals. So use statements that reflect and what matters to you. So your values represents those things that are important to you. Fourth thing, keep them short, frequent, and a couple of lines, which is important. Keep whatever you're saying short. When you're trying to train your subconscious, you want to train it through repetition or task and reward. Task and reward. The things that you do, you're going to get a reward, because then it become a pattern. Things you do and a reward, and even rewarding yourself for doing the things that you're doing. Things that you're doing and then reward. Teaching your mind that this. You just same thing we train our animals. When your animal does something here, you give them a little treat, because you're training them, but their mind that when you do good here, you give them a reward. You have to train yourself the same way. Reward yourself for the things that you're doing good. If you went to the gym for a week, reward yourself. If you whatever you're trying to do, if you've done it for a week or you've done it reward yourself. Don't push it off. Reward yourself. Okay. So fourth thing is, make them short and frequent. Make them short and frequent, because your subconscious record things based upon repetition. The more you repeat, That's why you can record and report certain parts of the things that you're affirming throughout your entire story that you're making. You can make your story as long as you want, because the powerful thing that's going to happen is, as you're reading this, as you're going off to sleep, your mind, what it does is, as you're sleeping, it goes through a process of continuing to play that story for the remainder of the night. So whatever you're going to bed with, your subconscious is going, because your conscious mind goes down and your subconscious comes up, it comes alive. And because it comes alive, what happens is the information that you're putting in your mind as you're sleeping, that information, you're chewing on it all night long, all 7 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours, you're chewing on that information. So this is why I keep saying, this is the most important, one of the most important sections. What you're writing, what you're putting as far as the things that are taking place in your life. Are you writing them in the present tense? Tying them to your values. Are you specific? Fourth thing, keep them short and frequent. Fifth thing, focus on process as well as outcome. How you're going to do it and the outcome. Focus on how you're going to do it and the outcome that you want. All the other stuff, it doesn't matter. How am I going to do it and the outcome? Okay? Put that in the chat. Put outcome. Put that in the chat. Outcome. Man, I'm running late on time. I went over again. Jeez, I gotta do better on time, y'all. I'm trying to give y'all so much, and I hope I'm not doing too much. Am I giving y'all too much? Tell me if I'm giving y'all too much. But I'm trying to give y'all a lot to help y'all. True. I'm the same way, Bruce. I'm the same way. Yeah. So let me give you 10 Affirmations, 10 things, 10. I'm gonna give you 10 affirmations real quick. All right. I might give you 5 because I got 10 minutes. All right. I might give you 5. If y'all have any questions, put them in. We'll get ready to answer them in like 10 minutes. So if you have your questions, I hope you have them written down. We'll go through however long y'all want, and we'll just have some question and answer, and we'll talk about these things. And so anything, if I've discussed anything that you're not quite sure of, please, this is why I'm making myself available. Please say, yo, I'm not really understanding this part. How can I do this better? I mean, what does this mean? Is this right? Should I change this? Should I change it? Now's the time to ask that stuff, or in 10 or in 8 minutes. Okay, the first thing, I'm gonna give you a couple examples of affirmations and how you can write them. Okay, okay, for confidence. This is an example of confidence, and this is something I wrote out because I couldn't remember all these because it's like a bunch of stuff. So I wrote it out. Confidence. So I'll give you 5. It said, I am capable and handle every challenge I face today. Very, very simple. It's precise. It's to the point. I am capable and I handle every challenge I face today. Very, very simple. Productivity. I focus on one task at a time and make steady progress. Example. Health. I nourish my body with healthy choices and move my body every day, and I enjoy it. You just got to keep it simple. You got to go through that basic format that I just mentioned. Keep it simple, keep it clean, keep it right now. Make sure that you're not saying a positive and combining it with negative connotations in the same sentence. Keep it all clean, keep it all positive. Keep it something that you believe is taking place right now. That's why I said you have to know what you want. You have to be willing to open up your vision in your mind to see the full spectrum of the possibilities that could take place in your life. Self-worth. I deserve respect and treat myself with kindness. See, this is just simple examples. And I always, my pet one that I go to is I am grateful and I am thankful that whatever that end result is. I keep mine real short and simple. I am grateful and thankful that whatever, that I'm healthy and that I work out and that, the food that I eat is vital to my body and it's making me, whatever. This is what I'm saying. You keep it simple with whatever the value or whatever the goal is, okay? Make sense? A few more minutes, y'all. Yeah, man, I wish I could give y'all more, but and so I already mentioned to y'all about the 4 areas. So what you want to do is you want to take and look at those 4 areas as part of what we were talking about earlier, and you want to start building out little. You want to start building out little, and I'm saying little, but it could be 5, 6, 8 sentences that are positive for each of the 4 areas. What are the things, and this is why you have to, that first assignment that we talked about earlier, you have to look at what are your thoughts concerning relationships. And if you have negative thoughts concerning relationships, like you don't believe that there's no good man, you don't believe that you can do it, you don't believe that you don't want anybody, whatever you're saying, then if you want to change that, you got to look at how you can change it. Okay? What is your mindset on finances, and savings and creating wealth and leaving something for your generations? What is your thoughts on that? Is it important? Maybe it's not important. Okay? And everybody has a different view on different things. Health. But when I talk about health, I'm talking about not only physical, but I'm talking about mentally and spiritually, that you are healed in totality. That's where this business model that I started is moving in a different direction. Yes, I was talking about relationships, but I believe that people should be healed in totality, the completeness of their life. So I'm going to keep people in the 4 areas. Their relationships, their finances, their health and mentality, but also their spirituality. And so your spirituality, what is your beliefs, your religion, your spirituality? What are those beliefs? Having healthy beliefs. Okay? And so part of what you can do tonight is look at the 10 blocks, expand on your affirmations on those 10 blocks. If you're going to have questions on affirmations, you can start getting ready to start writing them in the chat now, because I'll be open for questions in like 2 minutes. Because I'm done, and I'm pretty much done for today. And I appreciate each and every one of y'all for your time and for y'all tuning in. I really, really do. I don't take this for granted because there's other things that y'all can be doing on a Friday night or Saturday night. But you're taking the time to invest in yourself. You're taking the time to get information that a good majority of people that you know need the same information. There's a lot of people in your life that need the same information. And so as you're getting it, I'm going to want you to refer those people to what we're doing. Let's build a community of people that we're all moving in the same direction, where we can start changing our houses, we can start changing our families, we can start changing our generations by getting people to get the information on how they can start changing their thought process concerning the things that are most important to most people's lives. The most important things in most people's lives is their love or their relationships, their money, their spirituality, and their health. Lose your health and you'll see how important it is. Get your heart broken and you'll see how important it is. Lose everything you have financially and you'll see how important it is. Not be able to get in touch with God or the Most High and you'll see how important it is. You'll see how important it is. These are the four. That's why I categorize them areas as the four most important areas that anybody can focus on in their lives. So with that being said, I'm done. If y'all have any questions, you can put them in the chat. We can start a conversation. And I appreciate each and every one of y'all. I thank y'all for the taps, the shares, for your participating in the chat. Yeah, I believe that, Bruce. We can become the people that we're meant to be. It just takes us getting a new recording in our minds, changing the old thoughts in the old mind, and putting in a new recording. And so that's what I'm going to teach y'all within this next couple of days. So what you're going to do as a homework assignment for those that are going to do the work is that you got to start working on your affirmations, because when we come back in here tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon, I'm going to want some of y'all to share with me, if you're willing to, your affirmations, so I can say, you know what, maybe you should change that word, or maybe you should do this, because I'm telling y'all, this is the most important part, because what you write as far as your affirmations, then what we're going to end up doing, we'll probably go over some of that tomorrow, then the next step, I'm going to teach y'all how to set up your record and what music you should use, and how you can get in an emotional place, and I'm going to do the best I can. I set this thing up for 3 days, but I really should have set it up for more days. And so there will be the ability for all of us to join into group coaching sessions after this. And I'm not going to charge a lot for them. So if you're willing to be a part of it, you can. And there'll be different ways that you can get involved. And so what it will look like is that I will have a one-on-one, which you can't get a one-on-one with anybody for that without it being costing something. And then I'll have group sessions where it's very reasonable that anybody can afford to come. And but it's going to make a tremendous difference for anybody that gets involved, and they really, really have a clear vision of the thing that they want to take place in their life. We have a couple people in here that paid to be here tonight, and so they're automatically going to get at least a free session, because they did what they didn't have to do, because I wasn't really charging anything for this first one. I wasn't, because I wanted to do this to test, and I kept saying it as a test market to see the results that we can get. And so that's my main goal, is I want to see what kind of results can these 5 or 8 or 10 people get, and how we can use this as a measure to help other people. That's the goal. I'm very clear on my goal. That is the goal. I want these 5, 8, 10 people that are in here throughout to see the results, for those that are going to be serious with the work. And the work is easy work. The hardest part is what we're doing right now. Hardest part is sitting here for an hour, writing out the affirmations and figuring out all the different areas, and what are the things that I would really want. What would be the relationship that I would want? Write out, and this is part of what I'm saying. Write out, and even if you write it out in a story form, it's perfect. Write out what your ideal relationship would look like. Write out that you would love for your person to hold your hand as you're walking on, as you walk, and maybe that you like your person to be the type of person that understood you, that to the point that they kind of knew what you were thinking, that even sometimes maybe when you two were sitting out and off the back of your boat and you were looking at kind of the moon or the sunset, that neither one of you needed to talk, but there was just an unspoken, this is what I'm saying. You see how I just painted a picture for y'all? That's the way I painted the picture for myself when I wrote my story. Paint the picture. Be dramatic. A lot of y'all, especially when most people you meet are dramatic. Be dramatic. Yeah, that's true. That's true, Bruce. Be dramatic. What does that look like for you? You know, is your person someone that's tall and you like that because they're tall, or she's short but she's really cute and she dresses really nice, and because of that, you feel really good everywhere you go with her because she dresses appropriate, but she's really sharp and she's smart and she's this. What would that person look like? What does that ideal person look like? What would your ideal day be if I was writing the checks? What car would you drive? Can you describe that? What would be the perfect vehicle if I was buying vehicles for everybody on here? Just writing checks and just signing. Yeah. Bruce gets one. Renee, like Oprah. Renee gets one. Ness gets one. Whoever else is in here, because I can't see who else is in here, because they're not coming up. They're not saying anything in the chat, so I can't really see them. But so, what would that ideal day look like? Paint the picture. Write that vision, but make it crystal clear. And the guidelines that I gave you for affirmations is part of you making it crystal clear. And do you have any questions? Yeah, thank you, Bruce. Y'all have any questions? Anything else y'all need to know? Anything else y'all need to know before we wrap it up? Man, I really do appreciate each and every one of y'all for tuning in. We will be here again tomorrow. Tomorrow will be the last live session like this, but I will be teaching classes. But again, that's going to be depending on what part you join as far as after this. I will be teaching classes. For some groups, I'll be teaching twice a month. For some groups, I'll be teaching once. For some, I won't be teaching at all. And it'll just be, group coaching and things like that. It depends on where you come in. And, but the way I am, I appreciate you, Bruce. I appreciate that. Yeah, the way I am, I'll probably let people come in and because I'm just excited about the results. I'm excited about people's lives changing. I really am. Because if I help you change your life, then you're going to go back and you're going to influence your kids and your grandkids and whoever else, your sisters, your siblings, your people that are in your family. Those that are willing to change and those that are willing to open up their hearts. Again, thank each and every one of y'all for being here. Thank y'all for your time and your patience. And thank each and every one of you for investing in yourself. And again, you got to ask yourself, what value would you put on having that relationship that you're imagining in your mind? What value would that be to you to be at a place in your life of peace concerning money and not stressing out over money? What value would you put on that? I would put a very high value on that, because you would be in a position where you're controlling your life. And that's basically what I'm teaching you. I'm teaching you how to take control of your life, where you're no longer a victim, where you're no longer a victim of all of the things that other people are doing, because you've learned how to see things not as they are, but as you envision them. Because you are part of the process of creating the things that you want to manifest in your life. Like I always say, with every single one of you, I believe in you. But you got to believe in yourself. Thanks a lot. Talk to you soon. Again, if you have any questions, I'm giving you one last chance. Y'all have any questions concerning the affirmation part? Any questions? And if you don't have questions now, let me know. Text me or email. Text me and let me know for tomorrow early. And what I'll do is I might get on early. I might get on if y'all text me or something, or text me or email me and let me know you have questions. And I might get on an hour early or half an hour early or something. And then we'll just start at 7 still. So appreciate all y'all for tuning in. We'll be on here again for day 3, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the USA. Thank each and every one of you for tuning in. Again, my name is Arnold Austin, and I approve of this message. Thank each and every one of y'all for being here. Thank you again. Talk to you soon.